Hi children, how are you all? I hope you all are fine at home with your parents. Today we have to revise Chapter 17 Fundamental Rights and Duties. Children, before we will move to the topic Fundamental Rights and Duties, we have to talk about Independence Day. Yes, when we celebrate Independence Day, yes, India became independent on 15th August 1947 from the British government. After being ruled by the British for almost 200 years, India gained independence on 15th August 1947. So children, that day we celebrated for our Independence Day each year. After the independence, our leaders formed our government and framed a set of rules. This set of rules is known as our constitution. This set of rules is known as our constitution, on the basis of which the government would run. And children, do you know every country has a constitution, and the Constitution of India is longest written constitution in the world. It is longest written constitution in the world, and it is the supreme law of India. Do you know? It is a document which describes the rights and duties of its citizens and the way in which it is governed. And the Indian constitution is the longest in the world. It took around 2 years, 11 months and 7 days for the assembly to finish. So children, it took around 2 years, 11 months and 7 days for the assembly to finish writing the entire constitution and the two handwritten. So the Constitution of India is the longest written constitution in the world, and the preamble can be referred to as the preface, which highlights the entire constitution. Children, it clearly states what power the government has over the citizens as well as the rights and duties of the citizens toward the country. And children, do you know Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the principal architect of Indian Constitution and independent India's first law minister. Who is the first law minister in India? Yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And children, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Who is the father of the Indian Constitution? Yes, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Children, the Indian Constitution is unique in its features. Also, many of its features have been borrowed from various other countries like United States of America, France, Ireland, Australia, Japan and Canada. Children, do you know that the Indian Constitution is the world's longest for sovereign nation, as it touches every aspect of the life since the formation of Constitution on 26th November 1949. About 100 amendments have been made. Children, what do you mean by the word amendments? It means changes. So, amendment means changes. Yes. Though India became a free nation on August 15, 1947. India became a free nation on August 15, 1947. It declared itself a sovereign, democratic and republic state with the adoption of the Constitution on January 26, 1950. And that is the reason why we celebrate India's Republic Day on 26th January every year. Children, do you know why India celebrates its Republic Day on January 26th? The answer is that on this day in 1950, our country implemented a constitution that provided for democratic form of government. In other words, on January 26, 1950, India became a republic. A country whose people give votes to choose their government is called a republic. Now, let's know what is Constitution. It is a rule book that lays down the powers of the government and the rights and duties of the citizens of a country. Children, the Indian Constituent Assembly formed a drafting committee, headed by the father of the Indian Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, to prepare a draft constitution. The draft constitution was discussed in the Constituent Assembly. So children, what do you mean by the word constituent? It means member. Yes. So many changes suggested by the members were included in the draft constitution. The Constitution of India came into force on January 26, 1950, and it includes the methods, powers and duties which must be followed by the government institution. Fundamental rights, directive principles and the duties of the citizens of India. The Constitution declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So children, it declares India to be a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. Let's talk about sovereign. It means that India has an independent authority over its geographical area. It has the ability to look after the interests of its citizens and protect the borders. So children, it means supreme or independent. In other words, India is free from the control of any other country. So it means supreme or independent. Let's talk about secularism. It means that the government institution and their representatives should remain separate from religious institutions. Their beliefs and treat all the citizens equally. There is no official or state religion in India. People of all religions are equal in the eyes of law. It means that citizens are free to follow any religion. It means that citizens are free to follow any religion. Next, socialism. It means that all the citizens of India will be treated equally. The government will not differentiate on the basis of the caste, color, religion, etc. All will be equal in the eyes of the law. Children, it means that all people are equal and will be treated as equals. There is no difference between people on the basis of the caste, religion or region. Let's see democracy. Democracy, which derives from the Greek word people, is defined basically as government in which the supreme power is vested in the people. Children, it is a form of government in which the citizens have an equal say in the decisions which affect their lives. Every citizen of India above 18 years has the right to vote and elect people who form the government. These people are called representatives. Therefore, a democracy is the government of the people, by the people and for the people. So children, it means the leaders elected by the people form their own government. It means the leaders elected by the people form their own government. Let's discuss socialism. Children, let's talk about fundamental rights and duties. Children, we know India is a secular country. Well, even our Constitution Assembly felt the same. So, when they forming Constitution, they kept three things in mind. That is, all the people should have some rights and they call them fundamental rights. So, what is a fundamental rights? The fundamental rights are basic human freedoms that are necessary for Indian citizens to lead their lives in peace and harmony. So, fundamental rights is a basic human freedoms, and violation of these rights results in punishment that is awarded by the courts. Children, what do you mean by the word violation? It means சட்டத்தை மீறுபவர். Yes, the person who never obey the laws. That person must punished by the court. And the Constitution of India grants 6 fundamental rights to every citizen. These rights are protected by the government. So, in India, we have 6 fundamental rights and they cover all these important topics which are very important for human being, like prosperity, rule of law, dignity, justice, peace, hope, equality, freedom and trust. So, our constitution gives us 6 fundamental rights which cover all these important topics. What are fundamental rights exactly? How do we define them? Well, what are fundamental rights? So, all citizens of India enjoy 6 rights that are fundamental to human nature and to democracy. These rights are known as fundamental rights. So, what are 6 fundamental rights? These are right to equality, right to freedom, that means freedom of speech and expression, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. So, these are the 6 fundamental rights which are carried to us as citizens of India. So, children, what are the 6 fundamental rights? 1. Right to equality. 2. Right to freedom. 3. Right against exploitation. 4th. Right to freedom of religion. 5th. Cultural and educational rights. And 6th one, right to constitutional remedies. So, these are the 6 fundamental rights. Children, let's discuss 6 fundamental rights. First, right to equality. What does it mean? Well, the most basic right to equality is that all humans are all equal. That means every citizen is equal before the law. There will be no difference on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender, that means a male or female, or place of birth. When this was not the case before independence, when we know constitution of our own, so in early time caste system was followed, in which certain peoples belongs to certain caste. We make sure that everybody didn't have equal rights. So, Constitution Assembly is right to equality to every citizen of the country. That is, everyone is equal. So, children, it also says equal opportunities and equal pay for both the genders should be there. So, children, right to equality is every citizen is equal before the law. There will be no difference on the basis of a religion, caste, gender. Now, right to freedom. What is right to freedom means? Well, freedom to express and communicate. It is very important right. We are express our views. Children, it also means freedom to gather peacefully without weapons. you feel that something is not right or you do not like something which have been done by the government or society, you can always gather peacefully without weapons. You can show your protest, whether it is a candle march or peace march. Children, not only that, also it says that freedom to move through India or to live in any part of India, that is, maybe you belong to one of the North India but you want to move or settle down in southern India. You are allowed to do that. So, we have a freedom to move through India in anywhere. So, children, it also says that right to freedom. So, right to freedom, it includes freedom of speech and expressing your thoughts. The Indian citizens have settled anywhere in India, follow any occupation, trade or business. Children, let's talk about right against exploitation. This right protects the citizens from being ill-treated or made to work without compensation. No child below the age of 14 years can be employed for any kind of labor. And this is very important right. Nobody can exploit another citizen of our country. So what it is say? Well, right against exploitation mention that nobody can force children below 14 years to work. So nobody can force children below 14 years to work. That is, they cannot practice child labor. It is illegal under the Constitution of India. So, right against exploitation. So, right against exploitation, very important fundamental right in our country, which our Constitution ensures to child labor is illegal according to Constitution of India, because we have fundamental right. And it is also ensure that human trafficking. So children, what do you mean by the word trafficking? Deal or trade or something illegal. Deal or trade or something illegal. So children, human trafficking is illegal. So no one is permitted to buy or sell human beings. Every human being has freedom to choose what they want to do and how they want to live their life. They cannot be forced to do something, for they cannot be sell human beings. Human beings are free individuals, and our country has given these rights to each and every citizen. So human trafficking is illegal, and also we can show that underprivileged are not exploited. So no one can force people to work without payment or for very little payment. So they can choose the job they want to. So children, the right against exploitation is the right protects the citizens from being ill-treated or made to work without compensation, and no child below the age of 14 years can be employed for any kind of labor. Then comes to right to freedom of religion. It means India is a secular country where every citizen has the right to follow and practice any religion. So children, India is secular country. There are so many religious beliefs which is followed our country. So many different people follow different religious beliefs, and they are free to do, because all the citizens of our country, they have right to freedom of religion. So all these different religions together make of India, and we are all free to follow our religious belief. So citizens are free to follow any religion or talk about their religion. Next, cultural and educational rights. Every person has the right to get education and also get admission into any educational institution. The state cannot impose any external culture on people of the country. So, every community has the right to preserve, protect, and develop its own culture. So, all the different communities have this right to preserve, protect, and develop their own culture. That is the right given to us by our constitution. That is cultural and educational rights. How do we preserve, protect, and develop our own culture? Well, by practicing different activities which are our culture encourages. So, whether it is music, film, or dance, or maybe some of religious and some of our festival. Next, we discuss about right to constitutional remedies. Well, this is very important fundamental right. So, we know that all the different fundamental rights ensure as one or other part of our lives. But what is any of these rights are violated? What do we do? Then will our constitution also gives us the right to constitutional remedies. Children, what do you mean by the word remedies? Something that corrects. That means something that corrects. Yes. What is that means? This right allows citizens to go to court if any of the other fundamental rights are violated. So for example, if your right to freeze be it violated, if the government or any person is trying to stop you from expressing your views, what would you do? Well, you can go to the court and the court will decide whether you are right to express your opinion is valid or not, and if it is valid, then you will be given protection as well as other person who is trying to stop you from expressing your views will be punished. So, the court makes sure that all our fundamental rights are not violated. You can always go to the court because you have the right to constitutional remedies. So, children, right to constitutional remedies. Every citizen is protected by the law and is treated equally in case if any of the fundamental rights are denied or taken away. A citizen has the right to approach the highest court in the country. That means the Supreme Court. So children, what are the fundamental rights which is the Constitution of India? Ensure all the citizens of India. They are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedy, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. These are 6 fundamental rights of India. Children, let's talk about fundamental duties. We know as citizens of India, we all enjoy certain fundamental rights, but along with these, we also have certain duties towards our motherland. These are called fundamental duties. Some of these duties mentioned in the Constitution. These are First, all citizens must follow the ideas given in the Constitution. Next, we must respect the national flag and the national anthem. Third, we must contribute to the unity of the country. Fourth one, we must help when the country is in danger. Fifth one, we must treat all citizens equally. Sixth one, we must take care of the environment. Seventh one, we must protect public property. Children, let's talk about fundamental duties in detail. We live in our country, India. Now, our country, India, provides us with so many different rights. We have the right to express our view. We have the right to live with dignity. We have a right to lead a happy and peaceful life. Now, all these are possible because our country gives so many different rights. But with rights come duties too. So, duties are inseparable from rights. Both are steadily complementary. Just like I have my rights also, I have my duties towards the nation. So, the nation gives me my rights. So, I have to fulfill some duties towards the nation. So that I deserve these rights. You see, rights and duties both are complementary. They are called fundamental duties. So, the Constitution mentions some fundamental duties which all citizens of this country are expected to perform. So, what are our fundamental duties? Fundamental duties are the morals and principles which tell us the way in which we should act to uphold the unity of our country. Children, one of the very important fundamental duties are to respect the Constitution, the national flag and the national anthem are symbols of our country. So children will live democratic country and life which we have because of this Constitution of our country. It's very important that we respect it because in many countries they do not have as much as freedom as we have. So this freedom we get. Yes, we get because of Constitution of our country. So we should respect the symbols of our country. That is the Constitution, the national anthem and the national flag. So, as you know, whenever you hear the national anthem, you always stand upright to respect the national anthem. Similarly, when the national flag is high side, you stand upright and salute it because the national flag is symbol of our nation. We should respect it like we should respect the Constitution of our country because the Constitution gives all the rights and freedom which we have. So we should always respect our national symbols of our country, that is India. When the national flag is hoisted, you stand upright and salute it because the national flag is symbol of our nation. We should respect it like we should respect the Constitution of our country because the Constitution gives all the rights and freedom which we have. So we should always respect the symbols of our country, that is India. Also, it is our duty too. So children, you see, we all citizens of India together make up this country, isn't it? Now, everybody is free to follow their own beliefs. So, all of us act together like a family in this country. So, we may have different beliefs or we may follow different religions, but We are all Indians and it is our responsibility. So, our country is united and we are living like a family. So, it is all very important fundamental duties of India. Now, other important fundamental duty to protect the natural environment. So, you see all these wildlife and our environmental itself very important of our survival and these are part of our country. So, it is our responsibility to preserve and protect them. So, illegal hunting of wild animals as well as cutting of trees in the forest, these are illegal and it is our duty to preserve and protect them because only if the environment is protected, we all can proper life. Without environment, we not exist. So, protection and preservation of the environment is our duty. It is our duty to take care of environment. Children, another important duty to protect public property. See, actually, people all damage public property, which is for the good of all. No, we should protect public property of our country. We should not damage it. Not only that, you must have noticed whenever you go to some historical places like temple, monuments, you must have seen such images, that is, people have written names or scribble something else on the historical places. Sometimes people knowingly or unknowingly damage these places. Now, that is not to be done. It is completely wrong because it is our duty. We must protect public property. So, children, the citizen of India enjoy certain fundamental rights, but they have a certain duties towards their motherland. So, these are some fundamental duties. So, children, some of these duties are all citizens must follow the ideas given in the Constitution. We must respect the national flag and the national anthem. And we must contribute to the unity of the country. Next, we must help when the country is in danger. Next, we must treat all citizens equally. Next, we must take care of the environment. Then, we must protect public property. These are some fundamental duties of our country. Children, let's talk about directive principles of state policy. The Indian Constitution also contains the directive principles of state policy. These principles are guidelines to the central and state governments for making such laws that would help in establishing a just and equal society in India. The directive principles are based on the Gandhian principles. These principles relate to social justice, economic welfare, foreign policy, and legal and administrative matters. So, children, these principles are like a check in the government as they help the people to know whether these principles have been applied for the benefit of the citizens or not. Some of these guidelines are to provide work for everyone. To provide work for everyone. So, children, our government is giving the work for every person. Next, equal pay for equal work for both men and women. They never separate the person like a birth. If like a men and women, they never separate the equal pay for equal work for both. Next, proper working conditions in the area of work. Proper working conditions in the area of work. Then, ensuring that wealth is not concentrated in the hands of only a few rich people and the poor are not exploited. Next, providing a decent standard of living. So, the government mostly provide the basic needs of humans, then improving the condition of the weaker sections of the society. So, children, Gandhiji had said, be the change that you want to see. If we want to change others around us, we have to first change ourselves and be as good, kind, honest, and just as we want others to be. So, children, if we want to change others around us, we have to first change ourselves. Let's discuss worksheet. Roman letter 1. Choose the correct options. Question number 1. Which of the following applies to India? Which of the following applies to India? Option A, democracy. B, socialism. C, secularism. D, all of these. The answer is option D, all of these. Question number 2. The set of written rules according to which our country is run is called dash. The set of written rules according to which our country is run is called dash. Option A, Constitution. B, Directive Principles. C, Fundamental Rights. D, Duties. The answer is option A, Constitution. Third one. Which of the following is not a fundamental right? Which of the following is not a fundamental right? Option A, right to be treated as equal. Option B, right to follow any religion. Option C, right to choose our profession. Option D, right to proper living conditions. The answer is option D, right to proper living conditions. Fourth one. Which of these are a directive principle and not a right? Which of these are a directive principle and not a right? Option A, providing work for everyone. Option B, providing education to all children. Option C, freedom to live anywhere in the country. Option D, freedom to give your opinion. The answer is option B, providing education to all children. Fifth one. India became independent on dash. India became independent on dash. Option A, 26 January 1950. Option B, 15th August 1947. Option C, 20 August 1950. Option D, 10 August 1947. The answer is option B, 15th August 1947. Sixth one. We celebrate 26th January every year as dash. We celebrate 26th January every year as dash. Option A, Independence Day. Option B, Raksha Bandhan. Option C, Republic Day. Option D, New Year evening. The answer is option C, Republic Day. Seventh one. Dash is an introduction to the Constitution. Dash is an introduction to the Constitution. Option A, Articles. Option B, Amendments. Option C, Preamble. Option D, none of these. The answer is option C, Preamble. Eighth one. How many fundamental rights are given to Indian citizens? How many fundamental rights are given to Indian citizens? Option A, 2. Option B, 4. Option C, 8. Option D, 6. The answer is option D, 6. Ninth one. These are the guidelines for the state. These are the guidelines for the state. Option A, Constitution. Option B, Directive Principles. Option C, Duties. Option D, Fundamental Rights. The answer is option B, Directive Principles. 10th one. Which of the following is a fundamental duty? Which of the following is a fundamental duty? Option A, respect the national flag and national anthem. Option B, treat others as your equals. Option C, protect your natural environment. Option D, all of these. The answer is option D, all of these. 11th one. A country whose people give votes to choose their government is called dash. A country whose people give votes to choose their government is called dash. Option A, socialist. Option B, secular. Option C, republic. Option D, sovereign. The answer is option C, republic. Next, Roman letter 2. Fill in the blanks. Question number 1. The set of rules according to which our government runs is called our dash. The set of rules according to which our government runs is called our dash. The answer is Constitution. The answer is Constitution. Second one. Our Constitution was accepted on dash. This day is called dash day. Our Constitution was accepted on dash. This day is called dash day. The answer is January 26, 1950. This day is called Republic Day. So, Constitution was accepted on January 26, 1950. This day is called Republic Day. Third one. Every citizen of India has certain fundamental dash. Every citizen of India has certain fundamental dash. The answer is rights. Fundamental rights. Fourth one. The voting is done by dash ballot. The voting is done by dash ballot. The answer is paper or electronic ballot. Paper or electronic ballot. Fifth one. The people who elect their leaders are known as dash. The people who elect their leaders are known as dash. The answer is democracy. The answer is democracy. Sixth one. India is the world's largest dash. India is the world's largest dash. The answer is democracy. The answer is democracy. Seventh one. It has the world's longest dash. It has the world's longest dash. The answer is Constitution. The answer is Constitution. Next, Roman letter 3. Whether the following statements are true or false. Question number 1. In India, we get to who would govern us. In India, we get to who would govern us. The answer is true. The answer is true. 2. The preamble lists the basic principles of our country. The preamble lists the basic principles of our country. The answer is true. Third one. We have 8 fundamental rights. We have 8 fundamental rights. The answer is false. The answer is false. Fourth one. The Constitution states only our rights but not our duties. The Constitution states only our rights but not our duties. The answer is false. The answer is false.